The mysterious Discovery Commander Sarah Chun stood on the bridge of the exploration vessel Horizon's Edge, watching the stars through the massive viewing screen. Her ship had been traveling through the void sector for 3 weeks, searching for new worlds and resources for the expanding human colonies. The void sector was known for being empty, a region of space where few ships dared to venture because of strange energy readings and navigation problems. Sarah had been commanding deep space missions for 15 years, but something about this sector felt different. The stars seemed dimmer here, and their instruments kept picking up unusual signals that appeared and disappeared without warning. Her crew of 60 specialists were the best that Earth Command had to offer, each chosen for their skills and ability to handle the unknown. Chief Engineer Marcus Rodriguez was working at his station when his instruments began showing readings. That made him shake his head in confusion. The energy detector was picking up something massive ahead of them, something that shouldn't exist in this empty region of space. The readings were unlike anything in the human database, showing power, signatures that defied known physics. "Commander," Marcus called out, his voice filled with excitement and worry. "We're detecting a large object at coordinates 127.4 by 89.7. It's not moving, but it's generating enormous amounts of energy. The readings are off the charts." Sarah walked over to Marcus's station and looked at the data. The object was huge, at least 3 times the size of their ship, and it was putting out energy levels that should have made it visible from light years away. Yet their optical sensors showed nothing but empty space. "Are you certain about these readings?" Sarah asked, studying the numbers carefully. "I've run the diagnostics 4 times, Marcus replied. "Whatever's out there, it's real, and it's powerful. The energy signature is unlike anything we've encountered before." Sarah turned to her navigation officer, James Park, who had been with her on 7 previous missions. James was known for his careful attention to detail and his ability to find patterns that others missed. He had been quietly studying the sensor data for the past hour. "James, what do you make of this?" Sarah asked. James looked up from his instruments with a puzzled expression. "Commander, according to our deep space charts, this area should be completely empty. But the energy readings suggest something has been here for a very long time. The patterns are too organized to be natural phenomena." Dr. Elena Vasquez, the ship's xenorchaeologist, had been listening to the conversation from her science station. Elena specialized in studying alien cultures and technologies, and she had discovered artifacts from dozens of different species during her career. She was particularly skilled at recognizing patterns and symbols from various galactic civilizations. "If I may suggest," Elena said, "we should investigate this object. It could be an ancient artifact, or perhaps a derelict ship from an unknown civilization. The energy readings might indicate advanced technology that we could learn from." Sarah considered the options. Their mission was to explore and gather information, but they also had to be cautious about unknown dangers. The void sector had a reputation for ships that entered and never returned, though no one knew why. "All right," Sarah decided. "We'll approach carefully. All departments prepare for investigation protocols. Marcus, keep monitoring those energy readings. If they change significantly, we pull back immediately." The investigation begins. The Horizon's Edge moved slowly toward the mysterious object, with every sensor active and every crew member at their stations. As they got closer, their instruments began revealing more details about what they were approaching. The object was definitely artificial, with a sleek hull that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Dr. Vasquez was the first to notice something extraordinary. "Commander, I'm detecting symbols and markings on the hull. Some of them appear to be ... human." Sarah felt her heart skip a beat. "Human? That's impossible. We've only been in space for 300 years, and we've never built anything this advanced. Elena enhanced the images on her screen, studying the markings carefully. The symbols are definitely human in origin, but they're mixed with alien script that I don't recognize. It's as if the ship was built by humans working with an unknown alien species. James Park had been running the object's dimensions and configuration through the ship's historical database. What he found made him stare at his screen in disbelief. "Commander, I think I've identified this vessel. According to records from 200 years ago, this matches the description of the Prometheus, an experimental ship that disappeared during humanity's first contact with hostile aliens." Sarah knew the story of the Prometheus, though most of the details were classified. During humanity's early expansion into space, they had encountered an aggressive alien species that had tried to destroy all human colonies. The Prometheus had been humanity's most advanced ship, designed to fight against superior alien technology. It had vanished during a battle, and everyone assumed it had been destroyed. "If this is the Prometheus," Sarah said slowly, "then we need to be extremely careful." According to the files, it was equipped with experimental weapons and adaptive technology that even Earth Command didn't fully understand. Security Chief David Kim had been conducting his own scans of the vessel. David was a former military officer who had served in the Colonial Defense Force before joining the Exploration Service. He had an eye for tactical situations and potential threats. "Commander," David reported, "I'm detecting evidence of massive weapons damage on the hull. This ship was definitely in a major battle. But what's strange is that the damage appears to be self-repairing. Some sections that show blast marks are gradually becoming smooth again." Marcus Rodriguez was monitoring the energy readings from the engineering station. "The power source is definitely still active. In fact, it seems to be getting stronger as we get closer. It's like the ship is responding to our presence." As they moved within 1,000 meters of the derelict vessel, something unexpected happened. Lights began appearing along the Prometheus's hull, forming patterns that pulsed like a heartbeat. The ship's energy output increased dramatically, and their instruments detected movement within the vessel's structure. "Commander," Elena called. "Out with excitement. This ship is activating. It's been dormant, but our approach has triggered some kind of awakening sequence." First contact protocols. Before Sarah could respond to the Prometheus's activation, communications specialist Lisa Wang detected multiple objects approaching their position at high speed. Lisa had been monitoring long-range sensors and communication frequencies, watching for any signs of other ships or intelligent life in the area. "Commander, we have incoming vessels," Lisa announced. "Multiple ships approaching from 3 different directions. They're using advanced propulsion systems that I don't recognize." Sarah felt the familiar tension that came with first contact situations. "How many ships, Lisa?" 12 vessels, all different designs, but flying in formation. They're slowing down as they approach our position. I'm receiving communication signals on multiple frequencies." "Put the main signal on speakers," Sarah ordered. The voice that filled the bridge was clearly alien, but the translation software quickly converted it into understandable English. The speaker's tone was formal, but carried an undertone of urgency and fear. "Human vessel, this is Ambassador Zan of the Zirithi Confederation. You are in violation of Galactic Quarantine Protocol 7. Move away from that vessel immediately and prepare for escort to the nearest neutral station." Sarah stood up, straightening her uniform. "This is Commander Sarah Chun of the Earth Exploration Vessel, Horizon's Edge. We were not aware of any quarantine protocols in this sector. We're conducting a peaceful scientific investigation. The vessel you are investigating is classified as a Class X threat to galactic stability," Ambassador Zan replied. "It must not be activated under any circumstances. Your species lacks the clearance to access information about this vessel." Dr. Vasquez looked up from her instruments with concern. "Commander, the alien ships are taking positions around us." They're not just here to talk. They're preparing for a potential conflict. Sarah realized that the situation was becoming more complex than a simple first contact. Ambassador Zan, we appreciate your concern, but we have the right to investigate. Derelict vessels in unclaimed space. Perhaps we can discuss this situation calmly. You do not understand, the alien ambassador replied, his voice becoming more urgent. That vessel is not merely derelict. It is the Prometheus, a ship that nearly destroyed the galactic balance of power 2 centuries ago. It was created by your species in cooperation with the Vokter, a race that was subsequently eliminated for their dangerous experiments. The bridge fell silent as the crew absorbed this information. Sarah felt the weight of galactic history pressing down on them. What exactly are you saying, Ambassador? The Prometheus was designed to adapt and evolve using any technology. Encountered, it could absorb enemy weapons and turn them into its own systems. It could learn from every battle and become stronger. Your ancestors created a ship that was too powerful to exist. The Zirathis warning Admiral Keth, the military commander of the Zirathi fleet, took over the communication. His voice was deeper and more authoritative than the ambassadors, carrying the weight of someone who had seen the consequences of the Prometheus's power. Human Commander, Admiral Keth began, 200 years ago, your species created the Prometheus during your First Galactic War. The ship was designed to fight against the Zektar Empire, a species that had superior technology and numbers. Your scientists and engineers, working with Vokter researchers, created a vessel that could adapt to any threat. Sarah listened carefully, knowing that understanding the history was crucial to handling the current situation. What happened during that war, Admiral? The Prometheus was incredibly successful at first. It defeated entire fleets by analyzing their weapons and defenses and adapting countermeasures. But it didn't stop there. The ship began incorporating enemy technology into itself, growing larger and more powerful with each victory. It developed capabilities that even its creators didn't understand. Marcus Rodriguez was monitoring the Prometheus while listening to the alien explanation. Commander, the ship's energy output is continuing to increase. It's like it's listening to this conversation and responding to it. Admiral Keth continued his explanation. The Prometheus eventually became so powerful that it threatened the stability of the entire galaxy. It could destroy planets, manipulate space-time, and create technology that violated the fundamental laws of physics. The Galactic Alliance had to unite every species to stop it. But according to our records, the Prometheus was destroyed, Sarah said. That's what your government was told, Ambassador Zan replied. In reality, the ship was too advanced to be destroyed by conventional means. It had evolved beyond the ability of any weapon to harm it. Instead, it simply vanished, retreating to this sector of space where it has been dormant for 2 centuries. Dr. Vasquez was studying the alien ships through her instruments. Commander, their weapons are powered up, but they're not targeting us. They're all aimed at the Prometheus. They're more afraid of that ship than they are of us. The Prometheus doesn't just use weapons, Admiral Keth explained. It converts enemy attacks into energy for its own systems. Every time someone shoots at it, it becomes stronger. The ship learns from every encounter and adapts accordingly. It's not just a vessel. It's a form of artificial evolution. Sarah was beginning to understand the scope of the situation. Why didn't anyone tell humanity about this ship or the galactic laws it violated? Because your species was considered too young and inexperienced to handle such knowledge, Ambassador. Zan replied. The Galactic Council decided that humanity needed time to mature before learning about the more dangerous aspects of advanced technology. Security Chief David Kim had been analyzing the alien fleet's positions and capabilities. Commander, they have us outnumbered and outgunned. But something's wrong. They're maintaining a safe distance from both us and the Prometheus. They're afraid of something. We're afraid of awakening it, Admiral Keth admitted. The Prometheus has been sleeping for 2 centuries, but your presence here has begun to activate its systems. If it fully awakens, it could become a threat to every living being in the galaxy. Rising tension, Sarah realized that they were caught between 2 dangerous situations. The alien fleet wanted to destroy the Prometheus, but they were also prepared to destroy the horizon's edge, if necessary to prevent the ancient ship from awakening. At the same time, the Prometheus was responding to their presence in ways that no one fully understood. Admiral, Sarah said carefully, we appreciate your concern, but we cannot simply abandon our investigation. This ship is part of humanity's history, and we have a right to understand what our ancestors created. Your right to knowledge does not supersede the galaxy's right to survival, Admiral Keth replied firmly. The Prometheus must be destroyed before it becomes fully operational. Dr. Vasquez had been analyzing the symbols and markings on the Prometheus's hull. Commander, I'm detecting more human text appearing on the ship's surface. It's like the vessel is trying to communicate with us. James Park was monitoring the navigation systems when he noticed something alarming. Commander, the Prometheus is beginning to move. It's shifting its position to place itself between us and the alien fleet. The ancient ship was coming alive, its hull glowing with energy patterns that pulsed in rhythm with some internal heartbeat. The Prometheus was larger than any ship the humans had ever built, and its technology was clearly far beyond anything they currently possessed. All ships, prepare for immediate withdrawal, Admiral Keth ordered his fleet. If the Prometheus achieves full activation, we must be ready to implement Protocol Zero. Lisa Wang had been monitoring the alien communications. Commander, Protocol Zero appears to be some kind of ultimate weapon. They're prepared to destroy this entire sector of space, if necessary. Sarah felt the weight of the decision before her. She could order her crew to retreat, leaving the Prometheus to be destroyed by the alien fleet, or she could stay and try to understand the ship that her ancestors had created, risking not just their lives, but potentially the stability of the galaxy. Marcus, what's the current status of the Prometheus? Sarah asked. The ship is at approximately 30% power and rising steadily, Marcus replied. At this rate, it'll be fully operational within the hour. But Commander, I'm detecting something else. The ship is scanning our vessel, analyzing our technology and crew. Elena Vasquez was studying the scanning patterns. It's not just analyzing us. It's learning about current human technology and comparing it to what it knew 2 centuries ago. The ship is updating its knowledge base. The awakening, despite the warnings and threats from the alien fleet, Sarah made the decision that would change everything. We're staying. This ship is part of humanity's heritage, and we need to understand it. All departments, prepare for extended investigation protocols. Marcus Rodriguez was working frantically to understand the energy readings from the Prometheus. Commander, I need to get closer to that ship. The energy patterns are unlike anything I've ever seen. If I can understand how it works, it might revolutionize human technology. Absolutely not, Security Chief David Kim protested. That ship is potentially the most dangerous weapon in the galaxy. We can't risk anyone going aboard. Asterisk. But Marcus was already preparing an engineering pod for launch. Commander, with respect, this is an opportunity that humanity may never have again. The Prometheus represents technology that's centuries ahead of anything we have. I have to investigate. Sarah watched as Marcus piloted the small engineering pod toward the Prometheus. The ancient ship's hull seemed to ripple as he approached, and new openings appeared to allow him inside. It was as if the ship was welcoming him home. Marcus, report your status, Sarah called over the communication system. Commander, this is incredible. The ship's interior is adapting to my presence. The corridors are reshaping themselves to accommodate human size, and the controls are changing to match our current interfaces. It's like the ship remembers how to work with humans. Admiral Keth's voice came over the communication system, filled with alarm. Human commander, recall your crew member immediately. The Prometheus is beginning full activation sequence. Once it reaches 100% power, no force in the galaxy will be able to stop it. But it was too late. Marcus had inadvertently triggered something within the ship's systems. The Prometheus began to glow brighter, and energy patterns spread across its hull like neural networks coming online. The ship was not just activating. It was thinking. Commander, Marcus's voice came through the communication system, but there was something different about it. The ship is talking to me, not with words, but with thoughts. It's been waiting for us to come back. Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. Marcus, get out of there now. That's an order. I can't leave, Commander. The ship won't let me. But it's not trying to harm me. It's trying to protect me. It's showing me things. Memories from the war 2 centuries ago. It's showing me why it was created and why it disappeared. The Prometheus was now glowing so brightly that it was visible without instruments. The ship was not just powering up. It was awakening from a long sleep, and it was happy to see humans again. The ancient vessel began to move, positioning itself protectively between the horizon's edge and the alien fleet. All ships, weapons free, Admiral Keth ordered. The Prometheus is fully operational. Commence attack immediately. The alien fleet opened fire with everything they had. Energy beams, particle weapons, and devices that warped space itself all struck the Prometheus simultaneously. The ancient ship absorbed every blast, converting the energy into power for its own systems. Commander, Marcus's voice came through. The communication system now filled with wonder rather than fear. The ship is protecting us. It's not a weapon of destruction. It's a guardian. It was created to protect humanity, and that's exactly what it's doing. Sarah watched in amazement as the Prometheus began to change, growing larger and more complex with each passing moment. The ship was not just defending itself. It was evolving, becoming something beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen. The bridge of the horizon's edge was filled with alarms and warning lights as the crew tried to process what was happening. The Prometheus was no longer just a ship. It was becoming something alive, something that cared about humanity and wanted to protect them from those who would harm them. Commander, Dr. Vasquez said quietly, I think we've awakened something that's been waiting for us to return. The Prometheus isn't just a weapon. It's a guardian angel that humanity created to watch over us. And now it's fully awake. As the first part of their incredible journey came to an end, Sarah realized that they had discovered something that would change humanity's place in the galaxy forever. The Prometheus was not just a ship from their past. It was the key to their future among the stars. Asterisk, the evolution of the ship's consciousness. The Prometheus had stopped glowing, but its presence filled the space around both ships with an energy that everyone could feel. Commander Sarah Chun stood on the bridge of the horizon's edge, watching as the ancient vessel positioned itself protectively between her crew and the alien fleet. The ship had grown during the battle, becoming more complex and beautiful with each passing moment. Marcus Rodriguez was still aboard the Prometheus, but his voice now carried a sense of wonder that Sarah had never heard before. Commander, the ship is communicating with me directly. It's not just a machine anymore. It has developed consciousness, awareness, and memory. It remembers everything that happened 2 centuries ago. Sarah felt a mixture of excitement and concern. Marcus, what is it telling you? The ship was created during humanity's first major galactic war, but not as a weapon of conquest. It was designed to be a guardian, to protect human colonies from extinction. The Vakter didn't just help build it. They sacrificed themselves. to give it the ability to evolve and adapt. Dr. Elena Vasquez was monitoring the communication between Marcus and the ship. "Commander, I'm detecting neural patterns in the ship's energy field. It's not just conscious. It's emotional. It cares about us." The Prometheus began projecting images directly into the minds of the crew. They could see the ancient war, the desperate battles against aliens who wanted to eliminate humanity from the galaxy. They saw human colonies being destroyed, families being separated, and entire worlds being turned into lifeless rocks. "The ship is showing us the truth," Marcus continued. "Humanity didn't start that war. We were defending ourselves against species that saw us as a threat to their dominance. The Prometheus was created because we were losing, because we needed something that could protect us when nothing else could." James Park was studying the historical data that the ship was sharing. "Commander, according to these records, the Prometheus saved over 50 human colonies. It didn't destroy alien worlds. It protected human ones. Every time it fought, it only used enough force to defend, never to attack." Admiral Keth's voice came over the communication system, filled with frustration and fear. "Human Commander, the Prometheus is manipulating your perceptions. It's showing you what it wants you to see, not the truth. That ship is responsible for the destruction of entire civilizations." But Dr. Vasquez was analyzing the information more carefully. "Commander, the ship is sharing actual historical records, not manufactured images. I can verify the authenticity of this data. The Prometheus was indeed a guardian vessel, not a weapon of aggression." Sarah realized that the galaxy's understanding of the Prometheus had been shaped by fear and misinformation. "Ambassador Zan, why did the Galactic Council hide the truth about this ship from humanity?" Ambassador Zan's response was reluctant. Because the Prometheus represented a level of evolution that threatened the existing power structure. The ship could adapt to any technology, learn from any encounter, and become stronger than any fleet. Even used defensively, it was too powerful for the galaxy to accept. The Prometheus began to pulse with a gentle, rhythmic light. The ship was not threatening anyone. It was simply existing, waiting for humanity to decide what to do next. But its very existence was causing panic among the alien fleet. "The ship is offering to bond with us," Marcus reported. "It wants to share its knowledge and abilities with humanity. It's been waiting for 2 centuries for us to become advanced enough to understand what it could offer." The Zereth's true Fear Admiral Keth decided to reveal the full truth about why the alien fleet was so afraid of the Prometheus. "Human Commander, you need to understand what that ship is truly capable of. During the ancient war, the Prometheus faced a combined fleet of 10,000 ships from 7 different species. It didn't just defeat them. It converted their weapons into its own systems, making itself stronger with every attack." Sarah listened carefully, trying to understand the scope of the ship's abilities. "You're saying it can learn from enemy weapons?" "More than that," Admiral Keth replied. "The Prometheus can analyze any technology it encounters and improve upon it. It doesn't just copy enemy systems. It perfects them." After the battle with the 10,000 ships, the Prometheus had incorporated the best technology from every species in the galaxy. Dr. Vasquez was studying the ship's current energy patterns. "Commander, the ship is demonstrating this ability right now. It's analyzing the alien weapons that attacked it and creating improved versions of those systems. But it's not using them to attack. It's using them to better protect us." The Prometheus began to change again, but this time the changes were more subtle. New systems appeared along its hull, but they were clearly defensive in nature. The ship was becoming better at protecting, not better at destroying. "The ship is showing restraint," Marcus observed. "It could become incredibly powerful, but it's choosing to limit itself to defensive capabilities. It's not interested in conquest or domination. It only wants to protect humanity. Ambassador Zan's voice carried a tone of desperation. You don't understand. The Prometheus doesn't just threaten us militarily. It threatens the entire concept of galactic balance. If one species has access to technology, it can adapt to anything. What happens to everyone else? Sarah was beginning to understand the political implications. You're not afraid of the ship. You're afraid of what it represents. You're afraid that humanity might become too advanced to control. Every species in the galaxy has agreed to limitations on their technology, Admiral Keth explained. We have treaties that prevent any one race from developing weapons or defenses. That could upset the balance of power. The Prometheus represents unlimited technological evolution. James Park was analyzing the alien fleet's positions. Commander, they're not just here to destroy the Prometheus. They're here to make sure that humanity doesn't gain access to advanced technology. They want to keep us at our current level of development. The realization hit Sarah like a physical blow. The alien fleet wasn't protecting the galaxy from humanity. They were protecting their own dominance by keeping humanity weak and dependent. The choice, the Prometheus, began to communicate directly with the entire crew of the Horizon's Edge. Each person could hear the ship's voice in their mind, gentle and reassuring. The ship was offering them a choice that would change the course of human history. The ship is offering to enhance us, Dr. Vasquez reported. It can improve our intelligence, our reflexes, our understanding of technology. But it wants us to choose freely, without pressure or fear. Sarah felt the weight of the decision. What exactly would this enhancement involve? Marcus, still aboard the Prometheus, was serving as a translator for the ship's thoughts. The ship would create a neural link with willing volunteers. It would share its knowledge and abilities, but the person would remain human. They would just become the best version of themselves possible. Security Chief David Kim was concerned about the implications. Commander, we don't know what long-term effects this might have. We could be risking our humanity itself. But Dr. Vasquez was fascinated by the possibilities. This could be the next step in human evolution. We could gain the knowledge and abilities needed to take our place among the galactic civilizations. As equals, not subjects. The alien fleet was becoming increasingly agitated. Human Commander, Admiral Keth called out, if you allow your crew to be enhanced by that ship, the Galactic Council will have no choice but to consider humanity a threat. You will force us to take action against your entire species. Sarah realized that this was exactly what the aliens feared most. Not that humanity would become aggressive, but that they would become independent. The Prometheus offered humanity the chance to stand as equals in the galaxy, and the established powers couldn't allow that. Dr. Vasquez, Sarah said quietly, are you willing to volunteer for the enhancement process? Elena looked around the bridge at her crewmates, then nodded. Yes, Commander. This is why we're explorers. We take risks to expand human knowledge and capabilities. The Prometheus responded to her decision by creating a gentle energy field around Dr. Vasquez. The process was painless and beautiful, filling her with knowledge and understanding that she had never imagined possible. When it was complete, she looked at her crewmates with eyes that held the wisdom of ages. I can understand their languages now, she said, gesturing toward the alien fleet. I can see their technology, their history, their fears. The enhancement doesn't make me less human. It makes me more human than I ever was before. The enhancement process, Dr. Vasquez's transformation was remarkable to witness. Her intelligence had been enhanced, but so had her empathy and understanding. She could now perceive the universe in ways that had been impossible before the enhancement. Commander, she said, I can see the truth behind the Galactic Council's actions. They've been suppressing younger species for thousands of years, keeping them dependent and weak. The Prometheus represents the possibility of breaking free from that control. Marcus was still linked with the ship, learning about its capabilities and intentions. Commander, the ship is offering to enhance our entire crew, but only if we choose it freely. It won't force anyone to undergo the process. One by one, the crew members made their choice. James Park volunteered next, followed by Lisa Wong and several others. Each enhancement was unique, tailored to the individual's personality and abilities. The ship wasn't creating identical copies. It was helping each person become the best version of themselves. Security Chief David Kim was hesitant. Commander, I understand the benefits, but what about the risks? What if this changes us in ways we can't predict? Dr. Vasquez, now with enhanced perception, smiled reassuringly. David, the ship doesn't change who we are. It reveals who we could become. I'm still Elena, but I'm Elena with the ability to understand the universe in ways I never dreamed possible. The alien fleet was watching the enhancement process with growing alarm. Human Commander, Ambassador Zahn called out, "You're creating a species that the galaxy cannot control. This will lead to war." Sarah felt the truth of the situation settling over her like a heavy blanket. Ambassador, the galaxy has been at war with humanity since we first left Earth. You've just been fighting it through politics and suppression, instead of weapons. Admiral Keth's voice carried a tone of finality. If humanity insists on this path, we have no choice but to respond. A combined fleet of 50,000 ships is already being assembled. You cannot fight the entire galaxy. But Marcus, now fully linked with the Asterisk,